Welcome to Stillwater, a quiet town tucked between dense forests and a lake that's famous for multiple reasons. Time drips slowly here, the days hum, nights stretch, and some say if you listen close, Stillwater hums back. Our first story begins on the lake, down by the edge of town. There's an old wooden dock where the fog hangs thick most mornings, a calm, soothing breeze that travels the distance of the town. On that dock was a pavilion with a faded green roof, rusted nails, and floorboards that creak no matter how still the air gets. And that's where he sat. Old Man Ellis, they called him. No last name, no past, just Ellis. He lived under that pavilion for as long as anyone could remember. Never spoke, never begged, just fished. From sun up to sundown, always a line in the water. The same old rod. No one ever seen him pulling anything in, but it didn't seem to matter to him. Oh no, it didn't. Folks in town got used to him, like a tree or a statue of sorts. Something that was just there, part of the landscape. The local kids would dare each other to get close, although none seemed to have the britches to approach him. Even old Margaret, who runs the diner, said she tries to bring him some pie and a cup of hot coffee from time to time. Said she'd leave it at the edge of the dock, but he never touched it, not once. Pie would sit there till the crows took it. Coffee would go cold when met with the morning fog. Still, every Thursday, she brought it anyway. The weirdest part? Nobody ever saw old Ellis arrive, which is odd since Stillwater is a small community for the most part, but no, he was just there, fishing, like he always had been. And then one morning, he was gone. The dock empty. No Ellis. No rod, pie crumbs, or even no sleeping bag. No sign of anyone ever having lived there at all. Vanished, just like the fog come noon. And all the folks in town could do was stare at the empty pavilion and wonder, where could he have gone? Many thought him dead, and many rumored that he'd just left town. But if you know Stillwater half as good as I do, you'd know no one leaves town. Now, if you want to understand who Old Man Ellis was, you'd have to go a ways back. Back before the dock, back before the quiet mornings, and the untouched pie. Back to a different kind of noise altogether. The year was 1968. The jungle heat was thick and mean, and somewhere deep in the green shadows of Vietnam, Private Ellis was knee-deep in hell. He was young, tough, quiet, kept his head down, did his job. His best friend was a wary little sharpshooter from Mississippi named Jackie Mayflower. Jackie had a crooked grin and a habit of talking too much when things got bad. Said it kept all the bad thoughts away. They fought it for each other for nearly a year, together, firefights in the rain, bombarding POW camps. Explosions that shook the earth like God himself was angry. But everything changed fast for those boys. Ellis's platoon was ambushed in the middle of the night. Outnumbered, surrounded, they fought as long as they could, but they didn't make it. They ended up dragged through the mud and thrown into a makeshift prison camp deep inside the jungle. No names, no sunlight, no one coming to save them. 3 long months Ellis and Jackie lived in that bamboo cage, bruised and starved. Jackie kept talking. Even as his voice got thinner, he'd whisper about fishing back home. Said the best catch came when the water was still. Said he missed the sound of it. And that's when he started fading. The guards beat him too hard one night. He didn't get back up the next morning. Left poor Ellis in shackles, broken far from the men they used to be. He held his hand as the sun came up through the trees. Jackie just kept telling Ellis to throw a line in for the two of them when he made it home. Then the last spark of life left poor Jackie's eyes. Ellis didn't cry, and he didn't scream. He just held a hook that he'd taken from the pocket of his fallen friend and waited. Weeks later, the camp was stormed by U.S. forces. Ellis pulled out half dead. His face was sunken past his bones, his eyes hollow and empty. When Ellis came back stateside, he didn't go home, didn't call anyone, didn't unpack. He walked. Days turned to weeks, weeks to months, fish hook still in his hand. Nobody ever figured out how he showed up in Stillwater, but he was well respected nonetheless. Weeks passed after Ellis disappeared. The dock stayed empty. The fog came and went like always, but something had changed. The lake felt quieter, not peaceful, just empty in a way no one could quite explain. Margaret stopped bringing pie to the dock. For some reason, the crows still flocked there, though. Folks went on with their lives, tried not to worry and just forget about old man Ellis. But Stillwater always has a way of remembering things. Yes, it does. It was late October when the truth started to unravel. A family from out of town, people no one really knew, had just moved in, and they were burying their little girl, Eloise, in the Stillwater cemetery. She was 9 years old, and I reckon her parents didn't account for the weather here. But then again, clouds seemed to have a mind of their own anyway. It was a cold, gray morning, the kind where the wind blows through your coat and settles deep in your gut. After the service, while most folks had gone back to their cars, the mother stayed behind. She wandered through the graveyard, tears frozen on her cheeks, and that's when she saw it. A small stone, old, faded, tucked behind a crooked tree stump, like someone tried to keep it hidden. The name on it read Ellis, but the last name had been scratched out. Not worn by time, but scratched. Most likely a coon. Hopefully a coon. Below it, just a single line, 1969, aged unknown, lost overseas, returned home at last. The woman asked around because she remembered a story about an old man down on the dock and remembered they called him Ellis, but nobody knew about the grave. The town drunk Hickey said it had always been there, but no one ever listened to him. I wonder why. Others swore they'd never seen it before, that it had been new even though it clearly wasn't. So a few curious townsfolk, including myself, went digging through old town records, war reports, obituaries, and county logs. There it was, Private Ellis Hartley, declared killed in action summer of 1969. Body recovered, buried in Stillwater with no family to claim him. He quietly got laid to rest in the cemetery. But that didn't make sense, because if that was true, then who'd been sitting on the dock all these years? Some started to say it made perfect sense, though. He never spoke, never ate, and after all that time never even seemed to grow his hair, or age for that matter. Maybe, just maybe, Ellis never came home the way we thought. Maybe only a piece of him made it back that day. The part that still held on to that old rusted fish hook tight in a calloused hand. That part that sat on the dock year after year, waiting to catch something that could never quite be caught. Now the dock sits, still and quiet. A faint memory of old man Ellis still pops into townsfolk mind from time to time, but they've came to the conclusion that he's found peace. You see, Stillwater is funny like that. It holds on to things, memories, whispers, parts of the soul. Maybe he's still out there drifting across the lake with that old hook in the water. Or maybe, just maybe, him and Jackie are finally fishing in the sky. I do hope you enjoyed this little tale as I enjoyed sharing it with you. Next time we're taking a walk into town just past the rundown courthouse to a little place with coffee that never seems to run dry and pie that has everyone in Stillwater craving a slice. Old Margaret's Diner. The floors creak just right upon each step taken. And the stories? Well, they rarely really leave the building. We'll see you there next time. And remember, welcome to Stillwater.